Boom. All right. Last week, we started talking about volume. We started talking about how the market is manipulated, and that it's volume that we can use as a tool to actually help us recognize when there are outside factors that are manipulating the market and moving it in any one particular direction, whether it be up, whether it be down, whether it consolidate, right? And the way that we do that, or one way that we do that, is we take a look at volume price analysis, okay? And that's the relationship between volume and price over the entire life of the candle. So we're looking at volume, which is a new topic that we introduced last week. We're also taking a look at price and time, which is what we've been talking about up until this point for all of the previous weeks, right? Now, Richard Wyckoff is the founding father of volume price analysis. The reason that it's important to understand or know who this individual is because it is his laws that actually teach us, show us how to interpret the market and how to utilize volume to help us be confident, help us to be emotionless, help us to make sound, rational decisions, because we can predict the market by forecasting what potentially could happen because we are doing our own technical analysis, right? And so he believed that we should never trust the experts. Don't trust all of these sites that are telling you, one way or the other, that the market is going to move, that you should actually be doing your own technical analysis, that you shouldn't just solely take a signal, that you should actually analyze the signal, make sure that it meets all of the criteria based on your trading plan and your trading rules. And then once you've done that, if everything aligns correctly, then and only then do you take the trade. And so Wyckoff is actually famous for 3 basic laws. And it's funny because these laws are laws that I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with, or at least I was familiar with some of them, but I wasn't familiar with the fact that he was the one that created them and that they actually applied to trading and the market in general. And as I said, these principles can be applied to any market. It's universal. And so I'm going to go over each one of these laws so that you can understand how to use them and apply them to your analysis when you are marking up charts, when you're doing your technical analysis, when there are situations that happen that manipulate the market, that you're wondering to yourself, what just happened here? What is going on? These are going to start to answer some of those questions for you, because like I said, there's some of those hidden unknown factors that we don't seem to talk about or realize as these been happening, or we do know it's happening, but we don't understand why. And so I'm hoping tonight I can share some information or some insight as to what that is all about. All right, so Wyckoff, his first basic law is the law of supply and demand. Has anyone ever heard of the law of supply and demand?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's basic economics in high school.
Right.
Yep.
So we know that when demand is greater than supply, then prices will rise. And we know that when supply is greater than demand, then prices will fall. And we see that every day in the market with everyday products. We see them go on sale all the time, right? It's because of the supply and demand is changing in the market for that particular product, right? It's that same ideology, that same theory that can be applied to the Forex market. Because we're looking at supply and demand, and I'm going to show you how. If you think about supply and demand in this way, demand is our buyers. And we know that the base represents our buyers. And we know that supply represents our sellers, which represents our quote. So if demand is stronger than our supply or greater than our supply, then prices will rise, which we will see the market will buy. And if demand or our buyers are smaller, weaker, less than our supply or our sellers, or the sellers are greater than the demand, then prices are going to fall and we will see the market sell. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I want to make sure everybody gets it because like I said, this building blocks. And you should start to see the aha moments as you start thinking back to how you were analyzing your charts, looking at how the market has been moving, the trends, the patterns, right, in the market, how that happens, how that works, how it affects each other. And as you start to understand and realize these laws, then you'll understand how the market works and you'll be a more effective trader. All right, his second law is the law of cause and effect. Does everyone know what the law of cause and effect is? Or have you heard of it?
Yes.
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 Yes, ma'am.
All right. So in order to have an effect, you must first have a cause. Something has to happen in order to get the effect. And the effect will be in direct proportion to the cause. They will be similar. So in other words, a small amount of volume activity will only result in a small amount of price action, and vice versa. And I'm going to show you what I mean. When we're talking about the law of cause and effect, and we're looking at the market, we're not concerning ourselves at that particular moment with the direction of the trend. We're not concerning ourselves with whether it's going up or going down. What we're concerning ourselves with is whether or not there is a lot of volume, and if there is, then there should be a lot of price action. The price should move considerably because of the volume in the market, right? And vice versa. If there's only a little bit of volume, then there should only be a little bit of price action. And if you think about how the market works, you'll notice when there's only small amount of sellers or small amount of buyers in the market in any particular zone, the candles, the volume in the candle will be small. But if you notice, if there is a lot of volume, then the price action will move considerably. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's why I made it yellow, because it don't matter when we're talking about cause and effect. We're just saying if volume is great, if it's a lot of volume, then there should be a lot of price action. And if there's a little bit of volume, then there should just be a little bit of price action. All right? All right. And then the third basic law that he is known and famous for is the law of effort versus result. Does everyone on the call or anyone on the call has been made aware of or know or recognize or understand what the law of effort versus result is?
Yes.
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 And I tried
No,
to
I'm not
touch
familiar
on a
with this
little bit of that in that motivational video that I started this evening's class with, right? So we know based on this third law that every action must have an equal and opposite reaction. So in other words, the price action on the chart must reflect the volume action below. So when we start looking at volume on the charts, they have to actually reflect each other, right? So the two should always be in harmony with one another. With the effort, which is the volume, and it should be seen in the result, which is the consequential price action. And what I mean by that is this. If there are more buyers, if there is more buyers, now this is where I'm talking color. It could be green, it could be blue, but we know blue buy, right? Red sell. So we know that if there are more buyers, the volume for buyers, right? Then there should also be a result that we see in the market that shows us that the market is buying. And if there is more sellers, then we should see through price that the market should sell. So volume is seen in price action. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, ma'am.
So if we understand all three rules, and if we ever should see that one of these rules have been violated, then we know that we have just had an aha moment where the market is telling us that it is currently being manipulated by outside forces that is typically out of control, that the market doesn't have control over, if that makes sense. So it's not normal. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, yes.
So when we start to look at how to actually view volume on the charts, which is what I'm going to lead us into next week, I'm going to pull this all together and show you how we can use volume to validate. Because if you remember in last week's class, I said we're using volume to validate and forecast price action, because according to Charles Dow.
Hey, Jackie, we 45 after.
Good job. I'm right on track. So if we do that, we understand these things and we apply them. Then when situations like the news happen, and then we don't get the reaction that we thought we were going to get, but it forces a reaction from us as traders because we're anticipating the news, right? To shift the market, manipulate the market in one direction or the other. Are you guys starting to, is the wheels turning? Is the aha moments happening for you? Are you seeing how there is some outside force? It's almost like the Matrix. If you get into sci-fi movies, there is an outside force that is out there that has the potential to manipulate the markets in any one direction based on what their need is at any given time. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
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 And once you become aware of it and you recognize that it's happening, then you can anticipate it, you can plan for it, and you can protect yourself from it so that you don't make mistakes as a retail trader and you transform and transition into a master professional trader. This is how the professional traders are trading. It's because they are aware of all of these factors and they're able to put them together, apply them correctly, use patience and discipline, accept losses because we have to fail forward. Nothing is 100%. We will never be able to guarantee every trade. You won't, I won't, no educator will. The only thing we can do is learn as much as we can about how the market works, why it works that way, and apply it so that we are prepared and we ultimately become profitable.